In the mid-20th century, a new conflict arose that would shake the world: the Vietnam War. This war, however, didn't emerge out of nowhere. Its roots can be traced back to the First Indochina War, a bitter struggle between the French colonial powers and the Viet Minh, a nationalist movement. This conflict culminated in 1954 with the division of Vietnam at the 17th parallel. North Vietnam, under the leadership of Ho Chi Minh, adopted communism, fueled by the support of the Soviet Union. Meanwhile, the South, led by Ngo Dinh Diem, embraced capitalism, buoyed by the backing of the United States. These two halves, as different as night and day, stood as symbols of a world divided by ideology, a world teetering on the brink of a Cold War. And so, on this precarious stage, the conflicting ideologies of communism and capitalism clashed, their echoes resonating across the globe. Thus, seeds of a brutal conflict were sown, setting the stage for a war that would span 2 decades. The Vietnam War, a complex and protracted conflict, unfolded over a series of significant events. The late 1950s saw the United States taking a keen interest in the affairs of Vietnam, particularly the South. This was a period when the Cold War was at its height, and the fear of communism spreading was palpable. Consequently, the US sent military advisors to the South Vietnamese government, marking the start of a deepening involvement. Fast forward to August 1964, a crucial turning point occurred with the Gulf of Tonkin incident. The US claimed that their naval vessels were unjustly attacked by North Vietnamese forces. This led to the Gulf of Tonkin Resolution, a move that gave President Lyndon B. Johnson the power to escalate American military involvement without a formal declaration of war. As the war raged on, the year 1968 witnessed the Tet Offensive, a massive surprise attack by the North Vietnamese and Viet Cong forces on South Vietnam. This offensive marked a significant shift in the war's dynamics, causing a severe dent in the US public's confidence in their government's war strategy. By the early 1970s, peace negotiations were on the table. However, they were marred by continued fighting on the ground and political infighting back home in the US. In the midst of this, President Richard Nixon introduced a policy known as Vietnamization. The aim was to gradually withdraw US troops while bolstering South Vietnam's ability to fight the war independently. However, the war was far from over. In the spring of 1975, the North Vietnamese launched a full-scale offensive, leading to the iconic fall of Saigon. This marked the end of a 2-decade-long war, with North and South Vietnam finally reunified under communist rule. The war finally concluded in 1975, leaving an indelible mark on the annals of global history. The Vietnam War was not just a conflict, but a transformative event that had far-reaching consequences. Over 2 decades, it reshaped the landscape of Vietnam, both literally and figuratively, leaving a trail of destruction and a nation to rebuild. Millions lost their lives, both Vietnamese and American, in a war that seemed without end. The political ramifications were just as profound. In the United States, the war fueled a potent anti-war movement, forever changing the relationship between the government and its people. It was a catalyst for change, shaking the foundations of American faith in authority. The war's legacy is enduring. It has left indelible footprints on the collective memory of those who lived through it, and those who study it today. It's a stark reminder of the human cost of war, the devastation it leaves in its wake, and the long road to recovery. Even today, the echoes of the Vietnam War resonate, reminding us of the profound cost of conflict.